Heat illness prevention, presented by EGUSD Risk Management, area code 916-686-7775. Regulatory information. Regulations under Title 8, Subchapter 7, General Industry Safety Orders. They include 3203, Injury and Illness Prevention Program, 3363, Water Supply, 3395, Heat Illness Prevention, 3400, Medical Services and First Aid, 3439, First Aid Kits, 3457, Field Sanitation. Also, Title 8, Subchapter 4, Construction Orders 1512 and 1524, Logging and Sawmill, Mining, Tunnel Safety Orders 6251, 6512, 6969, 6975, 8420, and 8602E and 1230A. Where do we apply the standard? Where? Fields, playgrounds, equipment and storage yards, loading docks, any place the work environment may be hotter than outside, sheds, warehouses, vehicles, etc. All outdoor places of employment at those times when the environment risk factors for heat illness are present. Who needs to be aware of the standard? Coaches, ground workers, maintenance workers, campus monitors, yard duty workers, custodians, warehouse workers, any other employee working consistently in a hot environment. Environmental risk factors: air temperature, relative humidity, radiant heat, the sun or other sources, conductive heat, the ground, air movement, workload severity and duration, protective clothing and equipment. Are you at risk? Personal risk factors include age, degree of acclimatization, health, water consumption, alcohol consumption, caffeine consumption, use of prescription medications. They affect the body's water retention and affect other physiological responses to heat. Proper clothing protects against the sun and other environmental risk factors, allows the body to cool. In general, appropriate work clothing should be lightweight, loose-fitting, and made of breathable fabric. Light-colored that reflects the heat better than dark-colored clothes, which absorb heat. Shirts with long sleeves that cover the body and avoid sunburn. Also, employees should wear a wide-brim hat with attached fabric to provide shade to the head, neck, face, and eyes. Personal protective equipment, PPE. PPE can trap heat and not allow the body to cool. Wearing PPE in warm or hot conditions and during high heat or a heat wave may require you to take additional steps to prevent heat illness, including, but not limited to, taking more frequent breaks to remove PPE to cool down, drinking more water, taking advantage of shade or other cooling measures, adjusting work schedules and activities, seeking direction from supervisors or managers. Acclimatization, a temporary and gradual physiological change in the body. The body needs time to adapt to higher temperatures. Most people take 4 to 14 days of regular work involving at least 2 hours per day in the heat to acclimate. Be especially vigilant during heat waves and with new, unacclimated employees. When working with a partner, pay attention to each other and look for signs of heat illness. Supervisors will monitor weather daily and be on the lookout for sudden heat waves or spikes in temperatures. Supervisors will determine if high heat conditions exist and whether work hours or tasks need to be altered for employee safety. The importance of hydration. Employees should be drinking small quantities of water at the beginning of their shifts and then frequently throughout the remainder of their day. Approximately 1 cup every 15 minutes or 4 cups every hour. This equals 2+ gallons per day based on an 8-hour workday. If you will be working longer or spending recreation time in the sun or heat, you should adjust your water intake to accommodate the prolonged exposure. Avoid soda, alcohol, and yes, even coffee. Caffeine is a diuretic and may cause the body to become dehydrated when working in the heat. In the event of a heat illness, check: is the person responsive? Is the person able to swallow? If so, offer the person one of these options: commercial sports drink with carbs and electrolytes, coconut water, milk, cool water if no other options are available. Shade. Shade is blockage of direct sunlight. It must be provided when temperatures exceed 80 degrees Fahrenheit. It must also be provided to employees upon request, even if temperatures do not exceed 80 degrees Fahrenheit. Appropriate sources: Buildings, canopies, lean-tos, umbrellas, and other temporary structures or devices may be used to provide shade. Objects cannot cast a shadow in the area of blocked sunlight in order to be considered sufficient. The interior of a vehicle must provide air conditioning and be running to be considered an adequate source of shade. Rest breaks. Preventative recovery period. The period of time to recover from the heat in order to prevent heat illness should last at least 5 minutes. Employees should not wait until they feel sick to take a rest break. Heat rash. Heat rash is a skin irritation caused by excessive sweating during hot, humid weather. Symptoms of heat rash include a red cluster of pimples or small blisters. It's more likely to occur on the neck and upper chest, in the groin, under the breasts, and in the elbow creases. Workers experiencing heat rash should try to work in a cooler, less humid environment when possible. Keep the affected area dry. Dusting powder may be used to increase comfort. Heat cramps. Heat cramps usually affect workers who sweat a lot during strenuous activity. This sweating depletes the body's salt and moisture levels. Low salt levels in muscles causes painful cramps. Heat cramps may also be a symptom of heat exhaustion. Symptoms: muscle pain or spasms, usually in the abdomen, arms, or legs. Workers with heat cramps should stop all activity and sit in a cool place. Drink clear juice or a sports beverage. Do not return to strenuous work for a few hours after the cramps subside, because further exertion may lead to heat exhaustion or heat stroke. Seek medical attention if any of the following apply. The worker has heart problems. The worker is on a low sodium diet. The cramps do not subside within 1 hour. Heat exhaustion. Symptoms of heat exhaustion include heavy sweating, extreme weakness or fatigue, dizziness, confusion, nausea, clammy, moist skin, pale or a flushed complexion, muscle cramps, slightly elevated body temperature, fast and shallow breathing. Treat a worker suffering from heat exhaustion with the following. Have them rest in a cool, shaded, or air-conditioned area. Have them drink plenty of water or other cool, non-alcoholic beverages. Have them take a cool shower, bath, or sponge bath. Heat syncope. Heat syncope is a fainting syncope episode or dizziness that usually occurs with prolonged standing or sudden rising from a sitting or lying position. Factors that may contribute to heat syncope include dehydration and lack of acclimatization. Symptoms of heat syncope include lightheadedness, dizziness, fainting. Workers with heat syncope should sit or lie down in a cool place when they begin to feel symptoms. Slowly drink water, clear juice, or a sports beverage. Heat stroke. Symptoms of heat stroke include hot, dry, or profuse sweating, hallucination, chills, throbbing headache, high body temperature, confusion or dizziness, slurred speech. Take the following steps to treat a worker with heat stroke. Activate the emergency medical services by calling 911. Notify their supervisor, and if the emergency is happening on a school site, notify the administrative office so they can be aware EMS is coming and be prepared to direct EMS to the proper location on campus. Move the sick worker to a cool, shaded area or inside a building. Cool the worker using methods such as soaking their clothes with water, spraying, sponging, or showering them with water, fanning their body. Call the field intervention nurse at 916-801-9903. Cool the victim down. When moving a victim of heat illness out of the heat and inside, try to cool the person down gradually. If putting the victim in a car, turn the air conditioning on with the vents pointed away from the victim. Putting too much cold air on a person suffering from heat illness can cause the victim to go into shock. Only use rapid cooling if the person is suffering from heat stroke. Monitoring the weather. Routinely check for approaching heat waves. These links can be used to monitor for hot weather. Heat illness in children. Know the physical condition of the child. Lack of physical fitness can impair the performance of any child who plays in the heat. Acclimate them to the heat. Slowly increase the intensity and length of exposure over 10 to 14 days. This helps train their bodies to drink more, increase blood volume, and sweat more. Give them water or sports drinks. While sports drinks are fine for kids during activity, many contain high levels of sugar as well as necessary water and electrolytes. Their taste improves kids' desire to drink, but limit these drinks to periods of exercise only. Know the weather conditions and plan accordingly. Know the heat index. It's a combination of high air temperatures and humidity that's most dangerous. Encourage proper clothing. Lightweight, light-colored clothing is best. Watch them closely. Watch your children before, during, and after playing outside for any signs of dehydration or other problems. Pay special attention to children who eagerly play at or above their capabilities. Have an emergency plan. Train all support staff in first aid. Make sure each staff member knows what to do during an emergency. Questions? If you have any questions or concerns regarding heat illness or this training, contact Risk Management at 916-686-7775 or send an email to riskman@egusd.net with your question.